Why Northerners, Yorubas have been excelling at presidential polls ahead of the IGBOS. Welcome to the news and please subscribe to our channel. To get notified when we post hot juicy news updates, please click on the notification bell. Despite not being fully persuaded about the argument for an ethnic nominee for the president of Nigeria, one can understand and sympathize with the insistent desire of the IGBOS to provide a nation's leader in 2023. Leaders from the northern part of the country has been mostly at the helm of affairs from 1957 to date. The late Obafemi Awolowo, in an interview in the 1960s, was asked to compare Nnamdi Azikiwe with Ahmed Bello, who was the Saraduna of Sokoto State. Awolowo, while comparing the two personalities, said that if Azikiwe gives an appointment for 7, ask him if it is 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. However, if Bello gives you an appointment, he will accompany it with the appropriate AM or PM. By this simple statement, Awolowo clearly defined the Igbo's understanding of politics. As for Northerners, they keep to their words, and there is history to prove such. In 1959 and 1979, Azikiwe was negotiating with Action Group in 1959. He was also negotiating with another political party called the Northern People's Congress (NPC) at the same time. While Awolowo was at Asaba waiting for Azikiwe for a meeting, Azikiwe was already in Kaduna State to strike a deal with Ahmadu Bello. This deal secured him the nebulous position of Governor General to replace James Robertson in 1960. The position allowed Azikiwe to inspect the take salutations at military parade on Independence Day. Azikiwe later became the nation's president in 1963 when Nigeria became a republic. 2 years later, the agreement between Azikiwe's party, the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, NCNC, and Bello's party, NPC, broke down. This made the NCNC, which was led by Michael Okpara, to run back to Awolowo's Action Group to form an alliance. The ink on the alliance had not dried up before Azikiwe and Okpara tore it into shreds. There was an agreement that both the NCNC led by Okpara and the Action Group led by Mrs. Didiolu Awolowo, as Awolowo was in prison as of then, will boycott the 1964 general election in both the Western region and Eastern region. While the Action Group boycotted the election in the Western and Midwestern regions, the NCNC led by Azikiwe and Okpara breached the agreement by allowing the election to take place in the Eastern region. Prior to the 1979 election, Azikiwe announced to the world that he was quitting politics for good, and on the strength of that, Waziri Ibrahim, a wealthy businessman from Borno State, set up the Nigeria People's Party, NPP. The party was popular in the East with the presence of the likes of Jim Wobodo and Sam Mbakwe. Immediately, Awolowo launched the United Party of Nigeria, UPN. Azikiwe breached his own decision of no further participation in politics, combined with Mbakwe and Wobodo, drove Waziri Ibrahim out of NPP and adopted the NPP as an Igbo party, the same way the Igbos adopted NCNC as an Igbo party. However, Waziri in frustration set up the Great Nigeria People's Party, GNPP, and won in the 2 states of the Federation. Azikiwe also contested on the platform of the NPP and won in 3 states, while Awolowo contested on the platform of UPN and won in 5 states. In addition, Shagari, who was with the NPN as the party's presidential candidate, and Ekweme as VP, won in 7 states. Afterwards, a constitutional crisis started because there was no clear winner after the election. This made parties such as the UPN, the GNPP, the NPP, and the PRP formed an alliance called the United Progressive Grand Alliance, UPGA-UPGA. Azikiwe, however, went behind and reached a separate agreement that enabled an Igbo man, Ekweme, to be vice president and Anekwe or Umezuki to be Speaker of the House of Representatives. Awolowo went to court to fight against this move, but he lost, and the rest is history. As a reward of the betrayal of an agreement voluntarily reached in forming the UPGA coalition, many Igbos were given appointment in Shagari-led administration. As in the past, the agreement to alliance between the North NPN and the NPP Igbos did not last 2 years before Igbos became the worst critic of Shagari and NPN. And when Buhari struck in 1983, the first person to hail and claim ownership of the coup was Samuel Gomso Ikoku from Arochukwu and member of Shagari government. A similar thing was repeated in 2007 when Umezuki, a running mate to Buhari, abandoned Buhari at the election tribunal in exchange for a job for his son in the Yar'Adua-led administration as a special assistant. Recall that in 1979, Philip Omadi, an Igbo lawyer, was the running mate to Awolowo in the 1979 presidential election. He, however, abandoned Awolowo as Ezeoki abandoned Buhari. It was Philip Omadi that prosecuted the Ogoni 10, led by Ken Sarawiwa, on behalf of the Abacha-led government, while the Ogoni 10 were defended by the Yorubas and IGBOS, led by Gani Fawunhimi and assisted by Femi Falana and Oronto Douglas, an Ijo environmental lawyer. During the Action Group crisis of 1962 to 1966, the first person to abandon the party was Sam Ikoku. Ikoku also became the first ever Nigerian to seek political asylum anywhere. He first sought it in Ghana and later in UK. In 2011, Goodluck Jonathan, a man with the Igbo name of Ebele, sought the presidency on certain conditions given to him and on which he agreed to. The first condition was that he will not run for a second term, having utilized the rest of Yar'Adua's presidential term. To give credence to this, Jonathan made two statements, one in Ankara, Turkey, and one in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, that he will serve only one term. Jonathan broke the agreement and wanted a second term. I was eventually punished for it. The second condition was that Jonathan reached with Tinubu when he went to meet Tinubu in his Budulum residence. The agreement reached enabled the Yorubas to vote for Jonathan instead of Ribadu and secured Jonathan the presidency. It was the Yoruba vote that titled the scale for Jonathan in 2011. Recall that the incumbent governor of Kaduna State, Nasir Rufai, once described Jonathan as a man incapable of keeping any agreement. In 2013, Tinubu and others facilitated the formation of the All Progressive Congress, and Jonathan was punished. Meanwhile, there's a good side to the story. This event has forged the relationship between the Northerners and the Yorubas, which has kept the Igbos boiling. The Igbos lack the capacity to sustain political marriages, so both the Yorubas and the North are very wary of the Igbo overtures. The narrative is painful, but it is the truth. Even as of today, P2B, the Labour Party's presidential candidate for the 2023 general election, has breached the agreement he reached with the party before securing the ticket. I was going to ask what is now the relationship. I was really waiting for that. Okay, on this note, you've come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way.